Just to get the perspective right for the benefit of those who might be looking on us today in the national community, your role is that of a facilitator, and your critical mandate, or an aspect of it, is really to facilitate the development of the creative sector so that it can generate more economic activity and represent a larger part of the national economy and its growth, particularly in the context of the very necessary business of diversification. Am I correct? This requires constantly big thinking, very unusually big thinking, and unusual thinking because it is normal for us human beings to run the beaten track. You obviously will be faced with many, many serious challenges, some internal to your entity, as indeed you have, in my view, wisely recognized that your four-pronged attack, CreativeTT and then 3 entities, is not going to generate the kind of efficiency and cost saving that is necessary. It's a bad example in the context of the efficiency and the growth we're talking about. So you're dealing with that internal challenge. Obviously, there are other external challenges. How do you identify them? Your 3 major issues. One, I overheard a while ago, you said statistics, because you have no way of really measuring how you are growing, and you need support from other entities in the national community to do that. I'd like you to identify first, let's say 4 of your major challenges in the context of your pursuit from CreativeTT and TT.
Thank you very much, member of the committee. Certainly, data integrity is the first, so data collection and data integrity. I'll probably cite an example here, which again is not intended to be cheeky. We are embarking on the live music district, and for those of us who may not be familiar with it, the live music district is really best practice in terms of music districts in a lot of the first world places. So we've concluded phase 1, and we're actually in phase 2 with regard to that. And primarily what we've been doing in phase 1 is that we have been subsidizing the performers when they go to the Hyatt's, Smokey and Bunty's, live on the Arpita Avenue, etc. But we are viewed now with certain suspicion where, even though in our observations, whenever we have those artists performing in some of those private sector types, they are able to attract more patrons. When we go now to say, all right, we would like to wean ourselves off of paying the subsidies such that the private sector would be able to pay for them, the first question I would ask is, to some extent, well, we don't have the funds. And we could say, for example, well, we did see during periods of when we having them that more patrons appear to be there. But we are viewed to some extent with a certain suspicion regarding revenues around that. You wanted to?
Yeah, just to make a short intervention here. Subsidizing artists to perform?
Yeah.
How does that really work? I mean, just for my own genuine understanding.
So I'll ask my GM music to just give an example.
Sure. So, Senator Hines, we have
in the real world, how does that work?
Well, for us, we have a subsidized system in terms of whether you're a soloist, we pay X amount of dollars. If you are a duet, a trio, so we have a tiered system in terms of what we offer. It is the artist's responsibility now to say, okay, I'm going to Smokey and Bunty, and MusicTT is giving you this amount subsidized. It is up to them now to negotiate the rest of their time and the rest of their wages with the venues. Most of the soloists don't. Some of them do, but that's up to them in terms of what they consider their value for money. So yeah.
It is, a company is hosting an event.
Right.
And the company approaches CreativeTT to say, we would like an artist here, and we would like you to subsidize that artist's presence at my function. I'm asking, is that how it works?
Okay.
No, they're all public venues, Senator, and what happens is that we have gathered an interest in terms of all these venues who would like to be part of the live music district
talking
universe.
specifically about
Live,
live district.
yes,
Oh,
for
no,
the live
that's-
music
that's
district.
fine. Continue,
Yeah,
I'm
that's what I'm
sorry.
saying.
Yeah.
So we give the seed capital so that the performing artist has some sort of like money to make sure they get to and from the venue. So if they perform for, say, 10 minutes in different tiers, as my GM Music just said, you are given pretty much a little bit of a stipend. But beyond that, if the audience wants you to perform because you're so good in terms of it, which is the way it works internationally, all right? But we're trying to get people weaned away from the subsidies and have, therefore, the private sector collaboration in terms of you now paying the artist, because you could go live and check, I want an R&B artist, I want a soul, I want a soca artist for half an hour for the night. But we are not prepared, and neither are we funded, to pay for the entire cost of when it is that they're performing. So it's intended to be a private sector, public sector collaborative effort. That's where the subsidies come in.
Yeah.
So data integrity,
Yeah.
as you said, to a large extent, I think there's the opportunity for us at the interagency level to work far more closely, because I say this perhaps coming out of a strategic background, that, you know, we do need to have greater strategic alignment. And I say this because, to a large extent, I see the role for tourism, I see the role certainly for export, investment, etc., to help us in the creative sector in formulating what would be our value proposition, so that we are not operating from silos in terms of where it is at. Not to mention that is inefficient spend as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. So if we could have greater strategic coherence in terms of the proposition that we're putting forward, which speaks to destination, culture, tourism, industry, yeah, I think all around, that is one of the things that we're seeking to get greater effectiveness around.
Operating around